There we go. Good evening. Welcome to That Millwall Podcast. We are doing the Euros, or we will be doing the Euros in a little while. Obviously, it's been a strange weekend, and I think we will get into all of this in a moment. But you can see young Stephen there. Good evening, Stephen.
Evening, Mickey. Evening to the chat. Hope everyone's well over the summer so far.
Yes, that's it. Right, we're going to hit the title screen and then we'll be back and then we'll crack on with what's happened over the weekend. So hold tight. We'll see you in a minute.
Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall in London's Dockland.
No one likes us, but we don't care. We're That Millwall Podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy Abdul take a share in the kitchen or two. Super Neil Harris, a fucking legend too. Through the good times and this life, we support the Lions all our life. This ain't no place for fancy feet. This is fucking Millwall through and through. Located on our very own John Ferguson way. Let them walk on, let them have their say. Millwall till we die. With That Millwall Podcast, loud every Friday night right here.
Good evening, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, this is it's That Millwall Podcast doing the Euros, or it's meant to be. We've been talking about it throughout today as such, and we obviously wanted to do a show to be talking about England and the previews and how we've got on in the Euros so far. But unfortunately, on Saturday, we were hit with, I'm going to play this. This is, and you can hear it in the person's voice who done this. This was a live show from Sky. Sky, if you're watching, don't copyright strike me for this, please. I know it's your content. I've left all your stuff at the beginning, and at the end, it's not our content. It is yours, but I just thought that it was a good thing what you did, and hence why I'm going to play it out. So take yourself back to a Saturday morning, and this news broke.
Also, very tragic news at Millwall as well, who've announced the death of goalkeeper Matija Sarkic at the age of just 26. He reportedly fell ill at an apartment in the town of Budva in Montenegro this morning. A Millwall statement said the club is completely devastated. He made 33 appearances for them last season after moving from Wolves. He's got 9 caps for his country. His last a friendly against Belgium just 10 days ago, where he won the Man of the Match award. A number of Sarkic's former clubs have paid tribute to him this morning. He played youth team football for Belgian side Anderlecht before joining Aston Villa. They posted this on social media. Everyone at Aston Villa is deeply saddened by news of the passing of our former goalkeeper, Matija Sarkic. Matija joined our academy in 2015 and spent 5 years with the club, during which time he made his full international debut for Montenegro before departing in the summer of 2020. The thoughts and condolences of all at the club are with his family and friends at this incredibly sad time. Sarkic then moved to Wolves, where he spent the next 3 years of his career. They've said, "We are truly heartbroken by today's tragic news." Matija was someone who had time for anybody at the football club, no matter who they were. He was smart, bright, warm and funny, and gave everything to his profession and the people around him. A teammate, a colleague and a friend. He will be missed by all of us. Neil Cutler was Sarkic's goalkeeping coach at Aston Villa and for a brief time at Wolves as well. He's spoken of his shock at the news today, saying, "R.I.P. Matty, can't quite get my head around this, my friend. Firstly, a top human, always smiling, and secondly, a delight to work with, a real professional with a first-class work ethic. Devastated and in shock. Thinking of you and your family."
Sarkic, 26 years old, born in England in Grimsby. He's started off for Anderlecht and Aston Villa. He's played for Wigan. He's played for non-leagues, Stratford Town, Havant and Waterlooville, Livingston of the Scottish Prem. He signed for Wolverhampton in 2020. Spent time on loan at Shrewsbury Town and Birmingham City, where he was voted Player of the Season, and Stoke City. In 2023, he joined us, which I might come back to in a minute. And then obviously he played 33 times for us. And unfortunately now we're going to be starting another season on the back of another tragedy. A young player who was pretty much starting to make a name for himself, coming on good. His last game for us with a penalty save, Leeds with a double save to stop them scoring. I think it's. I really don't know what words to put into this at all. Stephen, what you got to say, mate?
Just a save, obviously, just before we move on, another save, the Southampton away save that earned us 3 points was absolutely phenomenal. Anyone that was there or watched it was absolutely phenomenal. But I'm sure, Joe won't mind me mentioning this, but on Saturday morning, woke up and Joe Zampa from the podcast had put a message in our group and said, this can't be true. And I genuinely thought it was a rumour about a player or someone was signing before opening the message, of course. And it's weird. It's a strange feeling, but it was just sadness to see what Joe had posted. And then you look into it and you think, no, it can't be true. It can't be true. And obviously the news outlets get hold of it. From me personally, I saw this tweet, from David Speedy on Twitter. Sad to hear Millwall keeper Matija Sarkic has passed away. A young man in the prime of his life, a top keeper who I watched versus Belgium just a week or so ago, has been taken away far too soon. And the bit I really want to focus on, my thoughts go out to his father, Bojan, his mother, Natalie, and twin brother, Oliver. I'm not a parent myself yet. I don't have children and I don't have any brothers and sisters. So I don't know, and I could never put into words what obviously they're feeling at this moment in time. Obviously, his brother was married last week. And two weeks ago, his brother was Oliver. Oliver. There was videos of Sarkic at the wedding. He, was loving life and celebrating with his family. So my initial thoughts go out to his family and obviously his close friends, everyone at Millwall, fans, Neil Harris, everybody have sort of come together again. Another tragedy that's affected us. That comment there, still can't believe it. It just doesn't feel real. It really doesn't. As you said, Mickey, Matty was, I've had a lot of time. I had a lot of time. As you look at the shows, I thought he was really coming on, as we all did. He shaky start, but was really started to make the number one goalkeeper position his own. And it's so sad. It really, really is. 26 years old. He's nearly 7 years younger than me, and it just puts into perspective that I think every time you wake up in the morning, you just can't really take life for granted, because you never know what's coming next.
Life is precious. I mean, I live my life by we all live on a time, and if it's your day, it's your day, and it's going to happen to all of us at some point. But 26 years old, do you think? It's not. And I've buried all different ages of people. A friend's child at 3.5. It makes you question everything in life, and I just think it's sad. We were talking about him on the show the other day, talking about the Belgium game, the man of the match, and everything else. I think this one from Mark is quite a good one. To be honest, I thought with all that we had happened over the last 12 months, that once that season had ended, we could finally look forward to something positive which I agree with him. And then he's come back with another one, which I just want to put out there. Look, we're going to take your messages. We were thinking about doing a space, but we thought we'd do on here, and we'll put as many of your messages up as we can. And we're going to do this for the first part of the show, and then the second part of the show, we'll sort of restart and we'll do about England, the Euros, and these shows will be going out in two separate parts. So if you're watching now on a live, great. At the end of this show, this will be unlisted. You will be able to get this video in the bunches, but then it will be going out as two separate shows tomorrow. But Mark put another one on, which I think, realistically, I fully agree with. However bad it feels to us, I can't imagine how this feels to his family and friends, and our thoughts must go out to them, to his twin brother Oliver, and obviously his mum and dad, and all his other family. Because I watched an interview earlier where he was excited to be going to the Euros and training, obviously, and playing for his national team, and going over where he was staying to see family. So, he was up for this. He could have really put him on the map. And it's now we're talking about a sad loss. We're going to have a first game of the season, or whichever, whether it's a first or second game now of a home game, where we will be remembering him. And yeah, tragedy is a bitch, mate. Unfortunately, but yeah.
I think one thing, and obviously it's really sad, and I the messages there's been so many tweets, so many, the flowers at the den, the signing of the book, everything. If there's one thing, and again, it doesn't take away from what's happened, but so many people had so many good things to say about him, and I think that's the thing. You usually get it from you'd get it from the Millwall players, Neil Harris, the Millwall fans, but all of his old clubs. There was, I don't know if you've seen it, I don't know if the guys in the chat have seen it. There is a fantastic story, a little snippet on Twitter shared by the referee Bobby Madley. About a story about him refereeing Sarkic in an under-19s game, Montenegro versus France. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Twitter. We'll get the pod to share it out as well. So if you want to go and have a look at that. But just everyone across the game, coaches, managers, former, coaches and under-19s, anyone who's been involved with him just had so many good things to say. And you look at, like, for example, even Bart has shared a couple of things on his social media the last few days. Obviously would have known him really, really well over the last year. And, it's just it's a real sad time of year, in life. And it's, yeah.
It was weird. Saturday was weird because for the first time in a while, I had a lane. And my phone's on silent all the time, and it confused the hell out of me that Dan Riggs had phoned me at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I saw that, and I'm thinking, he can't fucking want me at 8 o'clock in the morning. What's he phoning me at 8 o'clock in the morning for, fucking bloke? What's he doing? And thought nothing really of it. And then I suddenly looked and saw the WhatsApp. I had ridiculous amounts of messages in WhatsApp, ridiculous. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? And I've got everyone sending me, the story, different links and different bits and everything else from, the foreign press to the English press and everything else. And you're like, holy fuck. And then, it just spoke to a few people connected to the club and just confirmed it and whatnot. And it was just, wow. But it's quite interesting because if you look at his senior career, we are his first proper team. He signed for Aston Villa, but he didn't really play any games for them. And then the rest of his teams, apart from Wolves, where he didn't play anything, but the rest of the teams were loans. And then he come to us and he played 32 games. In total, he's played 110 games in total, and what, a third of them was with us. And I think that, he showed that he's got something with his Montenegro team. He played under 17s, under 19s, under 21s, and the full team, 9 caps for them, and obviously wanted to keep going and going. But I think he's definitely a player. You were starting to see what he possibly could become, and yeah, that's what we've got now. We've just got those memories. So yeah, I mean, if you've got any standout saves or standout moments for him, if you've met him in the car park and he's signed stuff for your kids or he's pictures with you, whatever. If there's anything you want to put in there, you're more than welcome to just post something up and we'll poke it up. Dan Riggs again has come up and said, realistically, the club should maybe retire his shirt number as a mark of respect.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, considering, and I know it doesn't necessarily matter, but he didn't wear the number 1, did he? I think it was number 20 was his
26. I think he wore.
Someone might be able to answer that in the chat, but I definitely think that's a real way to go. What I would say, what you said there about his career, he was much like, there's a lot of goalkeepers probably out there that they take a little bit of a while to find their home. Like if you're not in the first team, you're looking to want to play elsewhere. So he wasn't going to get in the first team.
Number 20, he was number 20.
He wasn't going to play at Wolves, so he went to Birmingham. He went to Stoke. He went to all these places to try and find a home. And Millwall probably was his home. He probably decided, this is the time to go. He knew Andy Marshall. Obviously, again, little thing, faults go out to him. Apparently, he was very, very close to Sarkic's family. Sarkic himself, he'd coached him for a long time, and I'm assuming you've listened to Harris's interview. Andy Marshall actually took the call at the club and heard the news. So Millwall was going to be his home. He was going to try and develop a career and see how far he could go in the game. And it's just, I don't know, all the messages that come through, we're all the same, whether, myself and Mickey are obviously in front of the camera talking and sharing our thoughts, but everybody feels the same. I agree, I would retire the shirt. Personally, I think it's the right thing to do. That the club will come up with something for him. Harris has kind of alluded to the fact that they would. And also, again, for the guys, if you haven't seen it, I would urge you go and have a look at Neil Harris's interview, because I think it just goes to show. Harris alluded to the fact he'd only worked with Sarkic for 3 months, but the impact that he'd had and the kind of man and the kind of person that he was, I don't think it was lost on Harris and lost on anyone at the club.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was, I think it was, one of those. It's, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what to say. It's sort of like we were all getting over KB, and like Mark said, we thought last season was the end of the season we wrote it off. We're going to hit this season head on, and we're hit with it again. And you could see it in the players towards the beginning of last season. And there's a comment there from Joshua. It says, I know it's slightly off topic, but having Harris as manager is best for us. Will help the group with this shocking news. I think you're probably right, to be fair. He will cement the group and he will move with them. So, it was weird. Saturday was weird. As I said, sleeping, loads of people texting. Dan Riggs thingy, and it was just madness. It was just looking and seeing other people doing stuff and whatnot, and yeah, I don't know. It's just we will get over it, and we will soldier on. And I think that if there's anything to do, use this to drive you on to the players. I agree with Connor. I still hasn't sunk in, if I'm honest with you. I don't really want to start believing it. I don't want to. I can't really deal with it to a degree. As in, like, I mean, I don't know the fella. I've seen him a couple of times. I don't know him. He is a football player, but it's weird. It's always weird when you watch someone a little while before, if it's your nan, your granddad, or someone someone you work with, whatever, it's slightly different. And even though you've got no emotion, like no emotional connection to him, I mean, I don't know him, I don't know his family, I don't know anyone connected to him in a personal level, I don't think, but it just rocks your senses because you see them week in, week out. They're part and parcel of it. I suppose what it is, and JB was slightly different, I suppose, to me because I knew JB on a personal level, but it's that emotional connection to your team and the fact that they are part of your team and something happens and we are all family, and I suppose that's why it rocks you. It will affect some people more than others and whatnot. And obviously, listen, we are there for anyone who wants our DMs and etc. It's all open. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Man of the match, last Millwall game. Man of the match, last for his country. Such a shame. Slowly was becoming a fan's favourite. He was, yeah, but at least he'll be in Millwall's book of legends for forever and a day now. So I think he'll always be part of it.
The big thing as well, just to touch on what you said there, the saying that's come up a lot over the last couple of days, and we all know it anyway. We all say it, we all think it when these kind of things happen. Once a lion, always a lion. And Sarkic falls into that category now. He will forever be one of our own. And you're right, it's not an emotional tie in the sense of a family member or a friend or a loved one or anybody like that. But as we know, we are a unique club. Millwall are a family. The players, the supporters, everyone needs to be pulling in the right direction. We've said it enough over the last couple of seasons or so. And Sarkic was part of that. He was part of that Millwall family. That's who we are. That's what makes us who we are. And when you lose someone from it hurts. And the comment I believe from Josh regarding Harris being the best person, I agree. I think Harris is the best person to be in this, to be leader of this group. Obviously Harris has been through a tragic time. I know it's not the same, but he'd obviously dealt with huge news personally whilst being a Millwall player, and come through the other side. And I think he will be the right person to try and galvanise.
Forever, I have to give it to someone new, someone good and honest and kind, who loves to mix things up. And that someone, Charlie Bucket, is you.
I've got no idea what happened there. My Spotify just decided to come on with one of the songs what my lad listens to. Yeah, that was quite weird. Sorry about that. And I've got earphones in. I heard it coming through the speakers, and I'm thinking, "Is that your phone, Stephen? It's not mine." And I'm thinking, "Oh well." So do apologise for that, but yeah.
But yeah, Harris is the right person to be in charge of this squad. I think he'll try and galvanise them. It will be tough for those first couple of days in training. It will be a sort of a hard one to swallow. But I'm sure Harris and the boys will want to honour Matty and do the best they can for him. Dan, on that man of the match in the last Millwall game, I thought it was great to see obviously under sad circumstances, but on my Twitter feed, you had people sharing the saves against Southampton, against Stoke, against the penalty saves at Swansea on the last day of the season. Like everyone was kind of sharing those moments of him. And I think, I believe, I don't know the words, I haven't got it on me, but his brother shared, didn't he, and said that, you know, they've had so many messages of support, you know, everyone's kind of rallying around them. And I think, as I say, Millwall supporters through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad, stick together. And this is a time that, you know, everyone needs to be together. And you know, last season it was, and I know it didn't work out, but last season it was a bit of a let's do it for JB. This time, let's try and honour Matty.
Well, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, and I'm going to tread carefully because some of it is personal to people who, you know, with him. But Matty was going to Stoke. Fees were agreed for him to go to Stoke. And then whatever happened, he decided against Stoke, and he decided to come to us. And Matty was the last player JB agreed to sign before we lost JB. And I don't know, it just feels strange. He was the last player what JB agreed to sign. And then sadly we lost JB very shortly. And yeah, one season down. And whatever, because as far as I'm led to believe, we were interested, or JB liked him for a while, and Paul Robinson liked him, and obviously been pushing for him. And yeah, so last player from JB, and now unfortunately he's sadly no longer here. So two incredible people, you know, everyone who's spoken about him, I've not seen one person say anything other than he was always, you know, his smile would light up the room. He was always happy, and he always wanted to better himself and everything else. So yeah, it was all great. So yeah, I mean the chats slowed down a bit and whatnot. So yeah, do you have anything else you want to say, Stephen? And then we'll get on to the Euros, I think, and then go from there, mate.
I just think, you know, again, I said it at the start of my piece, you know, thoughts are with his mum, his dad, and his brother, and obviously other family and close friends. You know, the whole of the football club from top to bottom, and the supporters are, you know, fully support the family, and you know, hope that they realise that we'll miss their son, brother. You know, it's not the same, but we will. And hopefully, come the start of the season, whatever Mill will decide to do to honour him, whether it is retire the shirt, whether they have something else in mind for him, we'll do it the right way. And I'm sure as a football club, we'll all come together on that first home game to celebrate Matty's life.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're fully right. So yeah, so yeah, pretty much. Mate, he's gone too young, I suppose. You know, rest of the greats, I suppose. You know, we lost obviously Kevin Campbell again, not a Millwall player, but you know, he was a good player of his day. Sadly, both lost on the same day. So yeah, so it's a bit of a mad one, that one is, but. Yeah, I mean, this is probably a poignant picture, I suppose, really to look at leaving with or finishing this part on it. We get some of these comments up what are there as well, but I think this was the last game, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was at the end of the last game, that one.
And it's just a poignant picture. Two players who hadn't really spent a lot playing with us, but also obviously a few, Mayer and that there, and obviously Sarkic. So it's a bit of a strange one. Let's get some of these comments up, and then we'll move on. Bobby was heartbroken, a true Millwall legend, keeper for us. Yeah. Sarkic's first home game for us was JB's memorial game. Now our first home game this season will be his. That just, that does bring it home a little bit, doesn't it? Mad, isn't it?
I know. You just, as someone said earlier, it's just another tragedy that the club has to try and get over, and it's just, you just didn't expect it to. You didn't expect it last summer, and you thought, we've moved on, and hopefully can build, and then you get rocked again.
No, that's it. Bill Holdens can't post. I don't know why you can't post. Nothing to do with me. Maybe called the new eventual training ground after my. I don't know about that, but I think maybe there needs to be a place on the walls, and etc. So damn poor. Not seeing his pictures up all the time, and I think that's pretty much it for remembering Matty, who sadly lost his life on the 15th of June 2024 when he had so much ahead of him. Hey ho. Rest in peace, sunshine. Rest in peace. You will be a Millwall legend forever now. So and we remember you, and hopefully your family will be there, and they'll see what you meant to us then. So pretty much that is the end of that bit now.